Not sure. And we still have no sound,
This is my first
which
time
is very
using
strange.
Meet, so I'm trying to. Yeah, because I had other meetings and stuff, but they were using or Zoom
Test, test,
or
test.
StreamYard.
Oh yeah. I've seen StreamYard used. I've never used it. Google Meet, I've read a lot. Oh, we have sound.
We
Michelle,
do? I love it. You press buttons
Okay.
and it works.
Sound.
We are working on the
Now
sound.
we can hear ourselves.
We have sound.
There you go.
This is
I am
and
letting you this tab.
with like a whole minute to spare. This is awesome.
Michelle,
Yes.
you deserve a medal.
No, do you know who deserves the medal? Behind the scenes, the Wizard of Oz back here, Michael Wacker of EdTech Team USA. So we've got EdTech Team Canada and EdTech Team USA. So thank you, Michael, who's just right here. So we can just say thank you to him here. Shh, that's our secret. All right. Well, you know what? It's 8:00. I think we've got a few people are here joining us. You'll see.
Michelle,
Mhm.
can I jump in for a minute?
Of course.
It's actually 10 o'clock, or if you're Paula, it's 4 p.m.
Oh
This
my
is
gosh.
what you're doing. It can be any hour you want. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I love it. Okay, you guys. Well, here we are. Just to quickly introduce myself, and then I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But we are EdTech Team Canada. You'll see the link down there, edtechteam.com/Canada, if you want to find out more about us. But ultimately, we work helping educators navigate this crazy world of technology, especially since COVID. We've been working virtually, and we love SlidesMania, and we have been using SlidesMania for so long and are thrilled to have Paula from SlidesMania with us. Let me just stop sharing my screen here. Like I mentioned, my name is Michelle. We are also joined with the lovely Miss Jen Giffen, who is one of the contractors that works with us at EdTech Team. Jen, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Michelle. Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Giffen. I am usually a teacher librarian in the York Region District School Board, but with our adaptive model going back to school, I am teaching hybrid starting tomorrow. I have one library period. I'm doing a grade 12 English. I'm doing a grade 11 leadership. It's a whole new, zone for me. I haven't been in the classroom for 4 years, but I'm super excited for this year. I love all the sharing that I'm seeing on social media, and this is my segue to Paula. We're here with one of my big favorite free sharers on social media, and she's not even a teacher, which I'm sure we'll get to. So I am a slides maniac, as they are known, and I am so excited to be here to help field some questions and pick Paula's brain for her creativity and her genius. So thanks you all for being here.
Exactly. And yes, thank you, Jen, as well. And Paula. Now, what's kind of cool is I can only assume everybody watching knows slidesmania.com. If you're just kind of tuning in because you heard the buzz and you have not seen slidesmania.com, your life has just changed. But we have Paula with us, who is the creator behind SlidesMania. Paula, we're really just going to ask you a few questions here and there, and we're going to ask all of you watching, if you have more questions for Paula, go ahead and put them in the chat. But Paula, let's turn it over to you. Do you want to just introduce yourself, kind of give us a little backstory on where you're from, what you do, and then we'll get into the goodness questions.
Sure. Hi all. My name is Paula. I'm the person behind SlidesMania. I will say every time I talk to someone, I always say the same. It's just me. So just to bear with me when you ask me to do stuff. It's just me. So the day has 24 hours. And I'm from Uruguay, but I live in Spain. And I've been living in Spain for the last 6 years. I'm not a teacher. I am not a designer. I work for a freight forwarding company here in Spain, and the administration department. So that's what I do. Right now I'm on vacation. I took so that's why I'm here at 4 p.m. and SlidesMania is I always say this is my happy place because it's where I get to do what I love. I don't mind working in finances, but it's not fun. It's not my passion or anything like it. It pays the bills. That's what it does. So design was always something I picked on. Sure. Sorry.
Can you just turn on captions?
I always loved design, and that's when I started working with the tools that I had, like handy.
Just get
and those tools were Google Slides and PowerPoint. So I started creating a lot of different things. The first thing I did was like website mockups and stuff using slides. And then presentations and banners and some illustrations. And it got to a point where I had a lot of those there sitting in my drive. And my husband told me one day, why don't you put up a website and share them? And I was like, sure, I can do that. But after I created SlidesMania, I was like pretty crazy because I never expected like all that has happened and all the messages and support and love, because I wake up every morning and I read messages on Twitter and my notifications, and I have a smile like from here to here because it's amazing. It's still shocking. I will never be used to this.
I think that's what's so great though, Paula, about it is it's just so organic. It's just from your heart. It was something that felt right, and I love to see how many people are just so appreciative of what you do. And so I think it's even better that it feels like such a surprise to you that people love it. So thank you so much for that. Awesome. So can we look at like the time frame? When was the very first public template that you created? When was that, and what was it?
The first template that I made was one that's called Chalk Fun. That's the first one because that was like the fun with like a blackboard background stuff. I had other templates before, but they were like business because I work with numbers and stuff. So they had the design for businesses to present statements and stuff. So those didn't get to the website. But the first one that did was the Chalk Fun. And this happened in March 2019, March last year. So, and right now there are over 200 templates on the site.
I know. Website, so. That's madness. As well, I am hearing that there might be some technical difficulties out there. I know, Paula, we couldn't really see you, so we've put you big screen. But do know, everyone watching, thank you guys all for being here. And also, this live stream is kind of new to us here on the panel. We're stumbling our ways through, but if there are technical issues, we are trying to get them sorted. So we'll keep you posted. Jen, I want to turn it over to you. Do you have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I will say I put in the chat in the live stream there that, like Paula said, it's only her. And if you go to the site, you see over 200 templates. I have a question follow-up after I make this comment. Paula does have on her About page, like you can buy Paula a coffee. And I've done that. I encourage other people, we know how hard we work as educators, and Paula has made so many of our lives so much easier with her templates for board games. I know I saw Aviva in the chat mention that. Over this last few weeks, there's been a lot of planners, long range, short range, sub plans, hyperdocs templates, build your own YouTube channel because things might be blocked in your district. It's phenomenal stuff. So I know for me, I was like, I so appreciate this woman. I want to buy her a coffee. So there is a link there. It's if you don't know, it's buymeacoffee.com and /SlidesMania. So absolutely no pressure. I'm not saying that everyone has to, but it is a nice way to show our appreciation. But this goes to my question. So we're last March 2019 to now, we're looking 18 months, 200 templates. I feel like you fire them off. My question is this, Paula, are you a robot? My real question is, how long does it take you to build? Like for me, when you get inspired, does the inspiration come from within, or do you get emails or maybe like Twitter DMs saying, hey, could you build something for this? And then how do you know in your brain, like, what's your creative process? Like, I think it's going to look like this. And from the time you get that suggestion or have that inspiration to end of slide deck for you, and a lot of us might feel pressured for how quick this timeline might be. How long is your process? Walk me through that.
The thing is, I do stuff because because I see a tweet like that YouTube channel's teacher was mentioning that she couldn't make YouTube playlists for videos that were meant for kids. So that was like, I need to do this. And that template, for example, I guess that one was like 6 hours or so to make, because it has links, and I want the effect that you really think like you are on YouTube and stuff. But for requests, I receive a lot of requests, like an overwhelming quantity of requests. And I have a list. Every time someone asks for something, I have my list. But I don't do them right away, because I am not a designer. And it's not, nothing comes like really natural, you know. Oh yeah, they asked me to do something, and I can just like start creating right away. It takes me a time.
I don't mean to interrupt, but that makes me feel really good that it doesn't just come to you, because I sort of thought you had these epiphanies. So it's good to you struggle with that creative process, because I think we're all there.
Some things, they come naturally, yes. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I have an idea, and I was like, okay, I want to do this, and I can end up like having a template ready in 2 or 3 hours. But they're like the most like the simple ones, and that's no problem. But the rest of the templates, and mostly because the ones that are requests, that I have to try to put myself into that teacher's shoes to understand what she needs and how she wants to look like and stuff. So those, I always say the same. I don't like to feel SlidesMania as a job, because it loses the sparkle. So what I try to do is every time I have like a free moment, I check on my list and I start working. I have like a folder in my drive that is working on templates, and it's filled with templates that I start but I don't finish right away, because if I cannot keep on working, if it's taking me like to figure it out, taking me a lot of time to figure it out, I just put it aside and I start working on something else, and then I go back to the template, and that's pretty much how I do it. So I try, but I don't know, it has to be the time right when, like right now I have an idea and I have to run to my computer and start working on it. But I don't really have like a creative process per se. You know what I mean? It's just whenever I have the time, mostly. And even though sometimes I say, okay, when I took this month off of my job, and I said, well, the first 2 weeks I'm not going to do, like, I'm just going to take them off. I'm going to go take a little trip with my family. I have a 9-year-old daughter and my husband. And when I came back to the trip, I said, I'm not going to do anything. But instead, I started working on the template with the red door, what happening to be, because I felt I had this idea, and I was like, oh, this is coming rather easily and natural, so I did it. And then I said I wasn't going to do anything else, and then yesterday I started working on the back end of the website just to change things up a little bit. So yeah, whenever I have the time and I feel like I have an idea or wherever, I just start working on a template.
I love it. And now I think I know, I saw it in Jen's eyes, and I'm certain everybody watching, like, just, what? You have a family too? You have a 9-year-old daughter?
Yes.
How is that? And 4 cats. Love it. Paula, where do you go for help? So, like, if you can't figure something out, who helps you? What helps you? Or do you just like fumble your way through? Like,
I find my way through. I'm a Googler, So every time I get stuck with something or whatever, I try to find it. Like, so it's not the first time someone is wondering how to do this, I'm sure. So Google's going to give me the answer. And I always find that someone else asked the same question before. So I go with it. But yeah, I don't have, like, my husband, it's my best friend, my partner, and I'm really happy that because he cooks. So I see, that's why I have time, because he cooks. The kitchen is his area. So I have time because he's in charge of that. But he's not the creative type, so I cannot, like, what do you think of this? Yeah, it looks nice. That's because he doesn't understand pretty much what it is. And we are pretty much by ourselves here because our family is back in in Uruguay, so it's just the three of us. And so or we do it together, or we do it together. That's kind of the thing with everything.
So, Paula, that's an interesting point. You say you do it together. Do you have your 9-year-old? Oh, sorry. That's Joyce presenting from inside a building. Starting, but there's no class. You say that you do it together. You have your 9-year-old daughter. Does she help you create these? Because I think this would be a wonderful task for our students, right? We're all about wanting students to be creators and not consumers. So tell me about the process with her and things you've noticed as far as her creative abilities and her comfort with tech in helping you in SlidesMania.
She helps me a bit, not too much. She's mostly my quality assurance person, because again, as you see, a lot of the templates are like, if you see them, they're like for elementary, middle school. I try hard to make them look a little bit more like upper middle school or high school, just because I have her in my mind and what she would like to use. And she's the one testing. And I see if something is easy to use, if she can figure it out. But she doesn't feel comfortable using shapes. She loses her patience every time she sees me that I create one shape and I put another shape on top and I group them and I move them, and she's like, I can't. And she freaks out. So she likes what I do, and she's the one like testing them. But she doesn't like to create them. Well, she did help me with one that I haven't finished because I told her that I needed more, like pixel art. She started creating one with emojis made with pixel art, and I told her that I needed more, but I think she could work. She's 9, so when can I ask her?
Well, I'll tell you, I have 3 boys, and around your daughter's age, so I have a 10-year-old and then I have 8-year-old twins. And they've seen the templates that I've used, that you've created. They've seen your templates that their teachers have created, especially when we went to emergency remote learning. And my guys love to play on slides, and they've looked at your things to say, what is that? And they've tried to recreate it. They love to see, if this can be done, how do we do it? And sort of deconstructing the puzzle behind them. So that's great. I love because you're beta tester. You have other people who work as your beta tester? Like, do you ever send them out beforehand? Because some of the stuff you produce is so complex, and like with all the different links that you need to go to, like, do you sit there? Because I know for myself, I for sure would miss some, like, and this be something you have people.
I don't have beta testers or anything, but I do test them a lot when they have a lot of links. And even though I test them a lot, like, sometimes I post a template and some user will send me an email like, I tried to change this accent and it's not doing anything, and it's because I forgot to assign the color. So yes, and I rely a lot on feedback from you guys because of that, because I don't have anyone else to share this, and I said, can you check this first? So yes, or your link is not working, or I tried to download this template, it's taking me to another one. Yes, I tried to do everything on the same day, like if it's template, I go to the website, to the backend, create the post, get the links working and stuff. So yeah, I make mistakes, a lot of them. But again, I have amazing people that isn't cool enough to tell me, hey, Paula, can you fix this? I think you made a boo-boo there. So yes.
So that's awesome. Also, speaking of people and the people that help you, and I know we connected on Twitter, and you were so responsive. I was like, oh my gosh, Paula responded to me. Tell me a little bit about the people that are connecting with you. Like, how many messages do you get in a day? How many do you respond to? What does that look like?
I don't know how many, but I have a lot of messages, because even though I try to make everyone, if you have a question related to this, just post it on the Facebook group, or if you have a question that is not related to a template, or something you want to ask me personally, you can email me and stuff. But I received Twitter direct messages through Facebook, emails, and then right now I'm answering, I'm on top of my inbox, which is amazing. But I do try to answer everything on Twitter, on Facebook, every day, because I know many people have a question because they're working on the template and they got stuck with something, and I know that I have to reply fast, because otherwise they cannot move on what they're doing, you know what I mean? So, and I know what the nightmare and the craziness that everything is being right now. So I don't want to adapt to that, and try to help as much as I can. So those I try to reply as fast as I can, unless I'm sleeping, because I do receive messages on 3 a.m. The world is round. What can I do about it? So
there's my proof that Paula is not a robot.
Yes, I sleep.
You've got such dedication to all of us that use your work, and you say, oh, well, I got to get back to them fast because I know, but wait, Jen mentioned it earlier. You're not getting paid to do this. But thank you. And then I do want to point out again, and Jen did mention it, so the Buy Me a Coffee. I think you said you had so many people tell you, how can I pay you? Well, you can buy me a coffee. So again, thank you just for that. But what I'm going to also mention, so in the chat, Emily is in the chat. She's under the Canada Support account over there. So thank you, Emily, for being in the chat. But I think she will likely post the Buy Me a Coffee link. She's probably scrambling now. Oh no, I have to dig that up. And also, Paula, I didn't know you had a Facebook page. I mean, I'm not huge on Facebook myself. But that's cool to know you've got Facebook where people can connect with you. So hopefully Emily will post that link in the chat for us too.
Yeah, I have Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube.
And as well. So we're pretty quiet in the chat. I'm not sure if people are just I think that they're just so engaged and listening to you. But those of you watching us, post your questions in the chat. I know Jen and I have tons. And also, Paula, I think we're hoping kind of near the end you'll show us how you do some of these designs. But so be ready for that. Jen, what else do you got? What other questions do you have?
I guess we might see this when you start building it, when you show us that. And I'm wondering, Michelle, maybe if we jump into that earlier rather than later, we'll get some questions going. But I'm wondering about, I go in and I know about the master slide and how you can, manipulate that. Can we go in as people who are using yours and change that a little bit? Let's say one of the colors that you're using is oh, that's a good color, but I want to use my school colors. Is that a possibility? Is that locked down? How do you have that so that other people can take your genius and tweak it into something that might work in constraints they might have?
90% of the templates are 100% editable, because just a few of them are made with images that you can move them around and everything, because they're not background images, but the colors are the image colors. But the 90% are all made with shapes using the master and theme colors. The theme colors, when you go to slide, edit master, you click on colors, and you'll see the theme colors on your right. Those colors.
One second. Do you mind just sharing your screen and maybe rather than like telling us, why don't we walk through that and show for people who aren't that? Do you know how to present this? Paula, for those following along, Paula is new to Meet. This is her very first Google Meet.
Yeah.
So we might have to give her some tips on how to do that. So along the bottom, you'll see a screen that says Present Now. You'll have 3 options there. You can present your entire screen. We'll see everything. So, close anything that's a little bit big. All those things that you have going on.
So I just click on Present Now, and that's enough.
And then you should have 3 options up at the top that to choose from. You should have entire screen, or did you get a box that popped up?
Found it. A window. Okay, let's share a window. I'm gonna share this window. I'm gonna share it now.
This is like the scene in Wizard of Oz where we pull back the curtain. So excited.
Okay, I'm not seeing you now, so I'm gonna try to squeeze this a little bit. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah, the thing with Google Meet, it's not like other platforms where you can like Zoom or whatnot. So you'll have to sort of go blind. If we have any questions or we can't see something, how about we'll chime in and let you know. Are you comfortable with that?
Sure. Okay. Well, this is the new SlidesMania home because I changed it yesterday. Whoever was in the website yesterday, I might have thought that I was having a heart attack or something because every time I was changing it live. So it was kind of a mess. Let's see. I'm gonna try because I can show you from here. Oh, wow, from a blank one. This is my process to create a template. When they're simple ones, I create everything on Google Slides. But when I need to create a more complicated shape, I use PowerPoint. Because it has the merge tools that are awesome. It's like a very, very basic Illustrator, and you can merge shapes and split them and stuff. So I use that, but I don't create a template on PowerPoint. I use it just to create the shapes, and then I just move them to a Google Slides because for me, Google Slides is much more easy and I can work faster here. So first thing everyone does is this. Delete the placeholders and start working. Well, no, I just delete the slide altogether because I don't need that. And then I'm gonna go to Slide, Edit Master. And because I don't wanna use these layouts over here, I wanna start fresh, I delete all the layouts. I select them by holding Shift and I delete them. So I start from scratch. And then I go here. I know everyone start using the template, but if you're not going to use 2 columns, the percentage number and stuff, I delete them. And then I started creating layouts. I set my fonts here, and because I don't usually, the first time you open this, it has very few fonts. You have to add them here if you want more. So I usually go to fontsgoogle.com. And I love display fonts, so I try for titles, they're catchy. So I type, here goes your presentation title, because that's what I use on most of the templates. And I start saying all the different options that I have. And once I find one that I like, I just look for the font on Google Slides. For example, if I wanted to use Frederick the Great, I just copy this and I go here and I paste it and I look for it. So here it is. And now my title is this. And because I'm working on the master layout, this is when people tell me what's the master layout, is this one over here that is bigger than the rest. It's on top of any other layout. So as you see, I updated this, and the title over here updated too, because this sets fonts for the whole deck. So, and if I want to use Arial here, and I want to use, I don't know, Montserrat, I can just change it here. And when I start inserting placeholders. Placeholders, so body text. So I have my body text here. I usually don't start adding more placeholders at first because I don't know all the layouts that I'm going to create. So I just click on the plus sign here to create a new layout, and I delete everything and I start adding my shapes or whatever I want to use. So I just start inserting shapes. And these are the theme colors. They're horrible. I hate them. But I use them because I can change them later. I don't know why they give this like the basic theme colors, but I don't like them. So if you click there, or if you're here and you click on colors, and here you have all the theme colors. So I'm going to change the accents for some colors that I do like. So I'm just going to go to, I want accent one to be red, this one to be green, I want this one to be blue, this one to be purple, and this is like the pink one, and this one I'm going to use a yellow one. Okay, so now I have my accents updated. I'm going to close here, and now when I'm going to recolor, my new theme colors are here. So now I have the shape.
Hey,
now,
Paula, I'm just gonna jump in only because like I don't think anybody watching can see Jen Giffen's face. You might not be able to see it either, Paula, but both of us, both Jen and me, there were 2 times we were like, what? Amazing. So fonts.google.com. Awesome. And I always thought that I was kind of like a sort of slides guru. I had no idea you could change the theme colors like that. I know what Jen is like.
No idea.
Awesome.
It's easier because right now I only made like this shape over here, but what happens when you have like 25 different layouts using different shapes with the same color? If you want to change it, you have to select the shape and recolor. It's extremely it takes a lot of time. So duplicate, for example. I'm gonna do this 2 shapes. So now if I realize after I created the whole thing, let's think this is a template. Let's think it is a template. And I don't want to use the red color. I just go to colors and I say, I don't want this to be red anymore. I want it to be, I don't know, this color over here. So now the things that I created using that color, they're updating without me having to select each shape and recoloring it again. You know what I mean? So this, yeah.
That's a rough moment for me.
That's a mic drop.
Wow.
And I think this is great, Paula. There was a question in the chat from Sue. So Sue, maybe this helps answer your question. She was wondering how to change the colors in one of the notebooks, but probably through the template, through the theme colors, like amazing.
The only notebook that you cannot change the colors with this is the first one with tabs. This one over here, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to go to notebook style over here. This one you can't. Why? Because the covers are made with images. Okay, you can recolor them if you. I'm going to try to show you. I'm going to open it. For those like that, this is the process. If you want to get a template, you just click on Google Slides or PowerPoint. If you click on Google Slides, it will open this preview where you can see how it works and all the pages and stuff. And then you click on use them.
For 1 minute there. I know how to do this. I use it all the time. But you there have actually shown people, like, this is what you're going to copy. And when you push use template, they get it. A lot of people, when they're forcing a copy, they may or may not know, if you go to the very end of your URL and change the word edit and anything after it to the word copy, that's when you get the familiar screen that's like white with like, do you want to make a copy of with the blue button? So what's your trick? Share with everyone. How do you do it so that you have what you saw with that blue use template?
Let me write it down because my brain doesn't work very well sometimes, and I do things with only my fingers. So you know when your phone number, you know it just when you dial it, but it's not in your head. I'm writing Okay, I did it. You copy the link and you replace everything from edit to the end of the URL with slash. That's how it's called in English?
Yep, you bet.
Slash, okay. Slash template slash preview.
Oh my God.
Awesome. I'm going to put that in so that people have.
So that's how you get the preview before you click, you get to have a copy of the template in your drive. So again, for this one, if I go to slide, edit master, and I go to colors, these are the crappy colors. Sorry for them. I don't know if I don't like them. So, but because if I want to recolor images in Google Slides, I have to use theme colors. I'm going to update this, and I'm going to use, I don't know, something bright. It's not going to change anything right now because I'm not using theme colors here, but it will help me to recolor images. Right now, I'm sure I'm not being quite clear, but give me a moment and I'll show you. I think that's pretty much okay. If you want to recolor images like this, again, this notebook, you cannot change colors by editing theme colors. You can just go to select the image, format options, recolor, and it's going to pop up this window. So you can recolor the image, and it still has that like paper feel like, because that's why I use images from this one, because I wanted that paper feel on the covers. So now I change the cover, and if I want to change the second one, I have to select it and change it for another color. And you also have to update the tabs, and because the tabs are behind this big shape, I always recommend use tab, the tab on your keyboard, because if you use the tab, you can move through shapes easily. Because otherwise you'll have to, like right now, if I want to click the blue tab, I can't because it's behind the orange image. So I said that this one was going to be this color, and that's the way you can customize this template. Again, first you have to set your theme colors for the ones you want to have as an option here, because the recoloring options are based on theme colors. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. If not, just let me know.
Totally. It makes a ton of sense. And what I'm also loving is you're just navigating through slides so easily and quickly and just boom, boom, boom. So when you say it takes you 6 hours and you go that quickly through it, wow, it would take a mortal human much longer.
The thing is, they have a lot of, like, these ones here. I use PowerPoint because I needed the merge. As you see, this shape, you cannot make them. You cannot make it using Google Slides. You can use this over here. Where is it? Shape. You can use, where is it? No, lines. The polyline, but I'm not good using the polyline. I have, like, if you see my mouse, I have like the biggest chunk of mouse, so it's not even comfortable to draw with it. So that's why I use PowerPoint, because I can just add a rectangular shape and another one and just put them together and then mask an image using that shape. So masking images, you can do that too with Google Slides. Remember that the options are here. So if you want to change the shape of an image, you can do it there. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to undo that. So this is the one that you couldn't modify, but I'm going to show you the other one. I'm going to go back. This one. This one I did with theme colors. Because after I posted the first one, a lot of people were asking if I want to change colors, and I know that the recoloring takes a lot of time because you have to select every picture, every image, and recolor it. So I made this one. And this one, yes, you can just go to slide, edit master, click on colors, and choose and just change this colors over here. So if I want to change this, and I want to, I don't know, Right now I'm using the default colors, but if you want something like more options.
Oh my goodness, I love this website. I learned about this website in Indiana a couple of years ago, and it changed the way I look at color.
Exactly. I love it too, because again, I'm not a designer, so color theory and stuff is not, I don't know. Like, I know I can say, oh, this looks pretty or this doesn't look pretty, but I'm not a professional. So I go to this website over here, and I start with a space bar. You can just navigate through different palettes. And if you need more colors, you just click on the plus sign over here, and you have like a whole new thing. And again, you don't have to use the default colors that Google Slides give you. You can use how do you pronounce it in English? The HEX. You say hex. Okay.
Yep.
Hex. Okay, so you click here, copy hex, and you go to your notebook. No, this one was. I'm going to close this one here, and you paste that there. And now it's updated, and you can do it for every single color. And your template again will be updated, the whole thing, tabs and everything, and even titles over here, as you see, because this title was using pink colors too, so now it's updated. So that's why it's important to use, if you're creating your own templates. I know, like, sometimes you're just creating a template and you start choosing colors from the default palette that comes from with Google Slides. You choose them from here. I mean, any of this. But it's important that you try to. I know there are a few that you don't have many options, because sometimes I want to do like a very colorful thing, and I cannot use theme colors for everything because I only have these options over here. But do try to use them, update them for a palette that you like, because that way, if you want to reuse the template, or you created a fantastic lesson but you want to make it look like new, like to change things up a bit, so your students don't see the same thing every time, you can just change the theme colors and make it like new, like you're painting your house and it looks pretty again. So that's with colors, and same with text. You can change the text for the whole thing if you edit the text on the master layout. So those are things that you have. They're simple, but you have to keep them in mind, because later they will save you time.
So great. And there's a lot of chatter in the chat now. It's like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. This is awesome. There is one question, Paula. Is there a search feature on SlidesMania?
Is there what?
Is there a search? Are we able to search for templates? Awesome.
Here. But as I wrote there, I am not good writing descriptions. Words are not my strength. I'm good with numbers, but not with words. So when I have to create a description of the templates, I know they're not perfect. So if you look for something describing a template here, I'm not sure you're gonna find a template. So this is, okay. If you know, what?
Sorry, Jen, did you have a question there? Oh, and Jen might, oh yeah, go ahead, Jen.
I'm good. I just wanted to say, like, if we were to search it, because I've actually often looked for that, and I've always stayed at the top. I'm like, well, maybe it doesn't. I know the name, so I usually Google SlidesMania YouTube template. But if I were to use the search function there, what's the fastest way? What am I going to find? Have you tagged them? Is it going to search the content in the description?
It searches everything. That's the thing, because I'm using WordPress for the website. It looks through the whole thing. So, for example, if I write math, okay, that's good. It brings this one that is for math, so that's good. This one too. This one, somewhere it read, because it's talking about the book that Mandy wrote. So, and another templates, maybe related or not to math, but that's the thing. It's not perfect, but it's good if you're like, I always recommend that if it's the first time you are on SlidesMania, take your time, browse through the whole thing so you kind of know what you're going to find and how the templates are called or how do they look like. Because the best is, if you know the name, is just to Google, to search the name, Google search name, for example. If I want this, the Edwin template. But again, it's there. It's not that reliable. I wish I could write better descriptions, and the search feature on WordPress was better, but
it's still great. You know what, I was in a workshop and someone, said, oh, I sure wish we could search SlidesMania, and then it was one of the participants in the workshop. It's like, but you can, there's a search box, and everyone in the room was like, oh my goodness, what? Yeah, so even if it's
I kind of hid it out of shame.
No, oh my goodness. Yeah, you definitely should not. So I have another question for you. Do you have a favorite template?
Yeah. I do have a favorite.
Isn't that like picking your favorite child? Like, it's only one child you're allowed to do that.
Classes. Sorry, this one is my favorite. I loved making this one, the classified. This one is not editable with the color thingy because again, I use image and they're like real piece of paper scan and stuff. But again, this template it's what it is. Kind of the colors give the whole thing. But along with this one, the last one I made this one is like getting very close to being my favorite because I loved making this one. This one was like really fun to make.
So cute. I love that one. It's great for like if you want to do a breakout or a scavenger hunt, right? It's a great one, and that's one you created right after your holiday, right?
Yes.
I might stalk SlidesMania a little bit and I just see like that might be my thing.
This one is again. I want to use. Why did I use theme colors for this one? I want to show you too. If it goes there, side. If you want to change the color of the door, is you want your door be, I don't know, blue. You change accent one, and it should have there. And I will update the whole template so your door now is blue. You don't have to keep it red. The rest of the template, the walls, this is a semi-transparent image that I created using shape with different transparencies to get the bricks thing. So if you take...
Hold on. Michelle and I were both just like, we were leaning in and listening. We both just sort of flew backwards in our chair. Who created this? This wasn't an image that you found and then just made it. You actually did all the squares. Paula, you are becoming more of my hero than you were when we started.
Thank you. I like to try to, I don't have access to like images or clip art or anything. Like if I use one, I end up using a clip art from a website here because I wanted a real frame, but I tried to create everything with what I know, with what I can. So I wanted that, the brick thing. But again, if I use theme colors and I'm using 3 different shades here for the bricks, so it wouldn't be enough. So right now, if you want to change the color of the background, you just need to, I don't know, so you see it. You can change the color of the background of your slide, but the bricks will give you all the the feeling. You know what I mean? So that's why I did that.
You have like a red house instead of like a gray industrial building.
Exactly. So you can change it the same here. Like this has images below, but if you want the walls inside the house to be, I don't know, kind of orangey, you can just change the background and update that. That you have, for those you have to change background colors. The door, yes, is theme color. So, yeah.
So how would
And
one
this-
tell then? I guess, Paula, my next question is, I know it's a theme color because if I click on an element and I open the colors, it would be checked on that theme color row, right? And if it's not checked, then when I know it's not going to change everywhere, I'm going to have to go slide by slide.
Exactly. If you click here, I have to click twice because, see, it's using theme colors. Why do I have to click twice? Because see the door here, I'm going to move, see if I can move the door completely here. There. See the door has that, like you think it has, how do you say, is someone that speaks Spanish over there? How do you call it? Relieve? Relieve.
Oh yeah, the framing of the door.
Exact. Yeah. Well, thank you. I wanted that, but that's not made with different. I'm gonna ungroup this so you'll see. They're lines. They're lines, semi-transparent. So they take the color of the door, and I don't have to recolor. I'm gonna group it again, so you'll see. This is a line. I don't know if you see it there. There, it's kind of transparent. That's why you can barely see it. So that's how it's, the whole thing it's made. So it's just shape and a shape and another shape and stuff.
A labor of love.
I truly enjoy it. I always say the same thing. Like, it's all started as a selfish thing. I just love this. I can get lost in time. I can just forget about everything. Like some people, when they get from the office, they have like to go out and run, or they have to, I don't know, do something to clear their minds. I have to do this. It's not very healthy though, because I would need to like stand up and like walk around because I'm always sitting on my desk. But I do go out sometimes. But this is my therapy. This is where I can just forget everything. You know what I mean?
I love that. Paula, on this, we did have a question a little bit earlier about the fonts. You said, oh, you can also change the fonts. And people are like, oh, that's so cool. Can you, I don't think I missed it when being in the chat, but can you just show quickly if you did want to change an entire font, how you would do that? One more, if you showed it, I apologize. Show us what, I think you did at the very beginning.
I'm gonna close it here. Okay, now the template's a mess because I just moved it around, but it's gonna work anyway. So slide, edit master, go to the master layout, the one on top, bigger than the rest. Select your title. Here, the placeholder for the title. Click on font. And if you have it on your list, just choose from your list. If you don't, go to fonts.google.com to look for more. And I'm going to try to change it for something that is kind of pops up so you'll see it. This one, I don't know. There. So I changed the title, and I want to do the same with the text. So instead of capit, I'm gonna choose, I don't know, I'm just trying to show so it doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. But, so you'll see now the title is taking the new font and also the text for the whole thing. Again, this happens if you use placeholders. If you use regular text boxes, this won't work. Okay, so if you start using a Google Slides and you delete the placeholders, and you go to insert text box. Here goes your title. I'm gonna make it bigger so you see it. Right now, it's taking the font that I chose, right? Ooh, that's too big. There. See, it's using the same font. But if I want to later change it again, because I didn't like it or whatever, I'm gonna go to, I don't know, handmade up. I changed it here. And again, this is changed, but this is not changed. So don't try to use as little text boxes as possible. Try to, I know they kind of messy when you start adding placeholders. Mostly if you, like for this ones, it takes me a lot of time because it goes you cannot see it, but every time I want to edit it, I cannot like even click on a placeholder because there are many on the template, but I do try because that's the way you can change fonts easily afterwards. So yeah, and it looks kind of weird like this, like your title was on top of the body text. And another question I received a lot is, okay, I'm using your I'm inserting placeholders. I want to edit this. No, this you cannot edit. The text is given by Google Slides. You cannot change what it says right here. Yeah, but I want to say, type your name here. The only thing you can do is just add the placeholder. And when you are here, if I delete this, it will say click to add title. And if I click it, it goes away. Just write your name here, or leave it blank so they can just click on the placeholder and add their names. But you cannot change what it says. That's Mr. Google's stuff.
Yeah, those are Paula, I have a podcast with our friend and colleague, Kim Polishuk, and whenever we get angry with Google and we're like, why doesn't that work? We call those the for the love. For the love, Google. You don't have to do that. So that is a for the love.
Yeah, for the love. Also, I'm still waiting. I want the tools, the writing tools, like the Jamboard that you have, the pen tool, and you can like, I want that here in Google Slides because the Scribble tool, it's impossible to use to write.
Well, yeah, because you double click and then boom, it's gone. It's like that. Oh, you're like, oh, I clicked out. That was so
I didn't finish. So, I submitted a feedback and everything. Trying like, please, could you please add? Like, you already have the tools in Jamboard. Can you just the code? You have the code. Just apply it here.
There you go. And everyone watching, submit that feedback request. Let's get hand drawing inside slides. You know what, Paula? We only have 5 minutes left, which is crazy. The time has flown so fast. Those of you watching in the chat, if you have any last minute questions for Paula, now is your chance. And while we're waiting for the chat, Paula, question. Oh, Jen has a question too. So, but there was a question just about adding or deleting sections. So let's say the notebook. If we wanted to add more sections in the notebook or delete sections, any words of wisdom on how we might do that?
Sure. I'm pretty sure you mean on this one's over here. Because
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I have it open here. So what happened with this template slide edit master? If I want another thing, if you want to change topic A, topic B, topic C, topic whatever, don't go through the master. Go to edit, file, find, and replace. So it's easier. Just go to not here, not on the master. And before I do edit, find and replace. Topic A, replace with math. Replace all and dots. So now, this is a question I get a lot, and that's the easiest way to do it. Now, if you want to delete sections, that's easy, that's fairly easy. For example, I'll just need to, delete the topic that is here, because this everything you add here in the master layout applies to the whole deck. So that's why this is here. So I don't want to use topic H. So now it's gone, and it's gone from every single, okay, so that's easy to make it. And you can even like resize the whole thing. For example, if I can just select everything, and I was okay, but I want this to be like this. So now I have one tab less, but it's all taking fits nicely. This work here, but what happens here? Sorry, this one here. If you see, this shapes over here already have the tab, And if you resize them, it will look kind of weird. So just delete it and change this. Use this shape, just a rectangular shape, and place it here. Send it to the back. To send to the back, I'm using a Control Shift or a down arrow, and just match the color. You lose the tab thingy here because it's part of the shape, but you can do it. The same goes if you want to add more. If you want to add more, you go to the master layout, you select everything, you can squish it, and you select two, for example. And I'm going to send them to the back if I can. There. And then you just place them there, and you're adding more tabs. Again, you'll have to delete all the covers with this because it has that size. If I do that there.
Well, that's awesome. And just to see you do that, like this was one in particular that I wanted to change, but then I actually just gave up. I decided, okay, I'm just going to use the one you had. But this is good. I'll be able to go back and watch that again.
And change it.
Thank you.
And just delete every cover from every cover layout. And then just duplicate this cover over here and place it.
That's great. Now, we are technically out of time, Paula. Do you have a few more minutes that you can hang out?
Sure.
Jen, do you have a couple more minutes? Jen's like thumbs up. There was a question in the chat. Someone wants to know how you created the spiral for the spiral notebook.
Sure. It's shapes. They're shapes. Everything is shapes. I'm going to slide, edit master. I'm going to remove these placeholders so they're not on the way, in the middle of the way. So again, this is all grouped together. I'm going to ungroup it so you see it. This is what I say why I use PowerPoint sometimes. If I can do this like a shape. I can take parts out, subtract parts. So that's why I can make this little holes on top of the notebook. So I'm going to just move the color, everything here. So here, and then you have more things grouped. Ungroup. And that's, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to make it bigger so you know. See? They're just rectangular shapes with a gradient. I choose this gradient over here.
I love this, Paula. So I know you guys watching can't see our faces, but of course, like our minds are blown again. And the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes as well, who's doing our live stream, you can hear the whispers of his. So it's so fun. You're just, it's amazing. Awesome.
Well, honestly, I think you could offer. I know. I've seen you go into conferences. You've been invited in to do presentations before. I really think, other than just like showing what you're showing here, I think you could run a whole workshop for teachers on. Here are 5 items to create using shapes and using color in Google Slides, and you would blow people's minds. And then what students can replicate for that creation. I'm thinking about elementary teachers who teach art, who aren't artists themselves, or are struggling to find, like, what a great way to show students how to create and how to make digital art at a very foundational level to build that that passion.
I had one workshop where I showed how to use, I can create everything from scratch, and it's on my to-do. The thing is, I haven't found it, like, the time to, like, get everything and stuff. I have 3 weeks to go, almost 3 weeks to go, with that I can just try to figure out when I can, like, schedule something like that. But yes, I would love to show how to do this. It's very simple because again, there are times
everyone.
It's not that how can I say it? There are a ton of tutorials online for Illustrator, how to do this with Illustrator and some other design tools, but nothing on how to do it with just a simple tool like Google Slides or Google Drawings, because you can do this with Google Drawings too.
Yeah. And when we're thinking about equity in education and what students have access to, people don't have the money to invest necessarily in the Adobe Creative Suite. Google's free. And so if we can start it there, like how phenomenal for accessibility for our students.
I'm sure, like, again, I am figuring things out along the way because I'm learning as I go. So I know a lot of amazing things can be done just using Google Slides. I'm not there. I'm very far away from that because I'm still very, like, I work on basic shapes and just try to recreate what I want using shapes. But I'm not a professional yet. So if I want to do something more elaborate, it takes me a lot of time. But this is just this. You know what I mean? It's just a rectangular shape with some shadow, with drop shadow, and you see the best way is to see one of them, how it looks, and I'm like, okay, it looks like this. So I need dark here, I need a lighter color here, you know what I mean? I try to see how things look and try to recreate it using shapes.
It's so great. Sue on the chat has said maybe post some short snippets or tutorials on your site, like pick one shape and just build it and do like a 5-minute, which I think would be awesome. If people are looking for that now, and Paula, you might want to look at Tony Vincent, who is does things called shapegrams, and you can go in with shapegrams.com, and he shows how, now they're not quite as complex, they're more clip art looking than what you have, but it's a great start, and he walks you through if people are looking for that kind of resource.
I love that. Once Matt Mayer asked me to create a Harry Potter template, and it was like the first time I was trying to do something like with a character, and I told Vincent, I was like, I felt like I was working with shapegrams because it was like one hair, another hair. It was just one thing to create the whole thing. So I love what he's doing with that.
All right. Well, Jen, did you say you had one final question or?
One final question, and I think it's a nice place to leave us off, Michelle. So the teacher librarian in me has to talk about attribution. And we have to talk about giving credit where credit is due. So I know it's embedded in your slides. Your very last slide is always, please make sure we have credit for, and how you can attribute. And the fact that you have SlidesMania on I know that there was a time that you found that people were copying your stuff and putting it on Teachers Pay Teachers and making a profit off your hard work, which of course we do not want to see. So you tell us now, straight from Paula from SlidesMania, how is it that we can best credit you to make sure that all of this hard work we've seen goes to you for your efforts?
I only ask because lately I've been doing a lot of templates. It doesn't require like a credit slide, let's say, because they're like more like a manipulative. I don't know what I'm saying, if I said it correctly. Okay. So I only ask people to leave this here, and as you can say, I'm trusting you here. It's just a text box, and I know some have removed it, but please don't. Just leave it there. It's small. I try to make it like really small there. And if you're sharing this you don't have to keep unless you're sharing what you created with other colleagues, or you're sharing the template on Twitter or whatever, because the template will be moving through many people, and if you don't leave this at the end, it will end up being sold on TPT. So try to just leave it there, so nobody, and it doesn't matter who receives, who opens the template, knows that this is not to be sold, that you can share it and whatever for free and create. Like, I love this synergy. Like, someone creates this thing, someone adds something on top, a third person opens the file and creates something else, and I love all that. But that's the thing is, I don't want to see them on TPT. It's like a nightmare for me. So that's the only thing. Just keep this text here, the little text there, and this one just in case you share the file with other colleagues and stuff, so they know that there is not to be sold.
Perfect. And thanks for that question, Jen. You're right. A great way to finish that. And Paula, again, thank you so much for all you do that you give for free. Yeah, and thanks so much for being here. If you want to stop sharing your screen there, perfect. Go stop presenting. That's.
Let me try.
So we can see your face again.
Oh, you're presenting. It's not presenting.
You got it.
Here.
You are there. Perfect. Great job. And yeah, so again, Paula, thank you so much for being here. There's so many more questions and so many more things that we would love to see. Is there a chance maybe we could get you back to EdTech Team Canada sometime?
Sure, no problem.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to still stay connected, to continue to learn from you. Thank you for all you do. Jen, thank you as well for being here.
Oh my gosh, I am so glad that I was invited to be part of it. Paula, you're incredible. Keep doing what you're doing, and I love it, and I'm so appreciative.
Thank you. I can't stop saying thank you all because again, it's like how can I put it? This my English is getting worse. Is you give it purpose. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, and it wouldn't have all the things. I could end up having like 200 templates there sitting on my drive without being used, because I use a couple of them, but not every single template. So every time some of you use them, and on top of that, or they tag me, or they send me a message, or they tell me that their kids love it or whatever, for me it's like it means the world. It's I get all like totally emotional because I still can't believe it. And I always say, like, to my mom in Uruguay, I'm traveling the world in the shape of a template, because I've seen the templates like Canada, US, Australia, India, and it's like crazy. You know what I mean? So it's, for me, it's mind blowing.
And for us too as well. Awesome. All right, Paula, well, we're going to let you go. Jen, we'll let you go. And everyone else out there, thank you guys all so much for being here. We'll hope to